Booyah. Did I scare anybody? What is going on, people? Welcome back to the stream. We are working on getting the dew off of the scope. Of course, it was sitting in air conditioning, and now it's outside, so it gets a little scrubby and foggy, and you know. So, what's up, everybody? Back at it again. Ooh, there's crispiness. Hope everybody's doing good. Let's see what we can get into tonight. I know we don't have the moon. I mean, it's at, what do we got, 54 degrees. It's still up there a little ways. Let's see what we can do with it. Make sure you're on 1080p as well. I don't know, the internet seems very slow everywhere tonight for some reason. I think because everybody's home. It's a holiday weekend, so might be a lot of internet traffic, but it just, my internet speeds are like through the roof, but for some reason it's being stupid. So go with the wide field if it stays clear, which it should, because it should everything was moving to the northeast, so it should stay clear. Hopefully. So, resolution 1080p. Everything is just bogging tonight very slowly. But we'll see what we got. Anywho, yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. Let's see what we got here. what is happening, people? Moon's getting low pretty quick. The goal is to actually do a solar stream or two this weekend as well, if anybody's up for that. So I'll put up a poll. If you guys want us to do some solar streams, you can vote on it. Supposedly the sun is very active right now, so we'll be able to see a lot of ejecta, sunspots, whatnot, plasma. So yeah, if that's something you guys want to see, we are more than willing to do it at some point this weekend, since it is a long weekend. You should be able to hear me. Here, let me do this. Let me take this down like this. How about now? I know there's a lot of like noise going on. There you go. Is that better? I do have this new microphone, so that might be part of the issue here. Let me see. Does that work? Hello? 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 I don't know. You guys tell me how the new microphone sounds, because I do have something coming tomorrow that is going to preamp, so it's going to like totally redo the audio. So I don't know. You let me know how this sounds. It looks like it's running the levels the same as the other one, so I don't know. I'll just wait to hear from you guys on how this sounds. The thing is, I can't turn it up too much because I have an echo, and that's what that preamp's going to take care of tomorrow. Because the more I turn it up, the more of the latency, it gives me more of an echo. It's just a pain. But yeah, let me know how this one sounds. It is a nice compression mic. I love it. So yeah, it's kind of hard with the music too, because we have new music system and all that. Anyway, all kinds of stuff happening on this end. I got the preamp coming tomorrow, and the mixer, and the sample board, and the new headphones. We're taking it to the next level, along with some stuff in the pipeline. So yeah, it might be a little low on your phone. I don't know if anybody has their phone and has earbuds or something. Can let me know. What up, Philosophy and SMA Sky? I hear you're doing good stuff over there. I haven't been able to check it out yet, but I want to. So hopefully that will happen soon. If you hear a phone in the background, that's the wife. I believe she's TikToking. So if you hear any of that, that's what that is.
Oh, sorry. I turned it off.
You're right.
I'm sorry, honey.
Yeah, that's what this microphone is. It's an XLR. I have it running USB right now, but it's causing latency, so it's, but it'll be XLR very soon. Yeah, so if we do decide to stream tomorrow night, we will be at full capacity audio-wise. So that's going to be fun. Is anybody else experiencing, like, weird internet tonight? Like, slow computers or slow internet for no apparent reason whatsoever? Maybe it's just this area. I'm not sure. Because my computer is only running at like 12 to 16%. It fluctuates, of course, with the stream. But man, even trying to type like with the keyboard in the chat, it just takes forever. So something's bogging my computer down. I'm not sure what it is. Let me see here. Oh, let me I'll put the music back on for a second. I'm gonna text with Paul and see what we're gonna do. Well, fantasy, as we move along, we're going to be gearing more towards talk and less towards the music anyway. So, yeah. But hey, you know, we said it since day one. If you don't like the music, you can always, you know, mute it and play whatever you want. Just keep checking in to see if we're yapping on the mics or not. But yeah, the plan is to gear more towards talk stuff and conversation, and we'll see where it goes. First things first, though, is getting all the audio stuff hooked up tomorrow. That's going to make stuff a lot easier. Yeah, we'll be talking about... See, the thing is, back in the day, because that's why we got rid of the space imaging out of the YouTube name, because we wanted to be able to talk about whatever topics, like while we're watching the moon, and, you know, because, hey, if we're weirdos, you're all weirdos too, because you like sitting here staring at the moon. It's just something magical about the moon. But there's nothing wrong with sitting around having a conversation, playing some, you know, games with everybody, you know, and just having chats about stuff that's not astronomy related. We think there's something special in that, and which is how we built the channel, actually, because we didn't stay on topic a lot of the time, if you remember. Where we got people like Mark D'Antonio to humanize a little bit instead of being, you know, the teacher all the time. Because on his channel, he's gearing that towards, you know, teaching and learning. And don't get me wrong, that's absolutely great. But when I have Mark here, I want Mark to be like my friend Mark and not Mark the teacher. Now, obviously, he knows a lot. So we realize people are going to ask him questions and everything like that. And no problem with that whatsoever. But it seems like, you know, a lot of people are moving away now from that idea that, oh, we're watching the moon, so everything has to be astronomy related, from questions, you know. So we're looking at it as, well, what's wrong with us just yip-yapping and talking about whatever we want to? You know, why we watch the moon, or while we watch the moon, you know, and just kick back and have a conversation like we're all sitting in the same room. Which is why we'll be opening phone lines up if people want to call. I'm not a big fan of the whole, 10 people in a Skype room or Zoom, because that just gets idiotically insane with everybody talking over everybody. But don't put it past us to, like, say a fantasy and say Justin or Rock or somebody, and we decide, 3 or 4 of us just to jump on stream, or we have somebody new that wants to, just come in and join us. Just throwing them on Skype with us, you know what I mean? So, well, it wasn't really sports fantasy. It was more like we were going to talk about basically current events and make it more or less like an opinion-based show, if you will. Because as I don't know if I told people yet, but there is a radio show coming in the near future. It will be daily. I think we're going to start out with an hour or two at first, but that is myself with somebody else. I'm not ready to put that name out there yet, but it will be a daily radio show. Almost, you'll be able to do it like a podcast. You'll be able to download it, but there'll also be video involved with it and everything else. So you'll be able to do that. So if you got to drive or something, you'll have audio to listen to if you feel like listening to every stupid thing we say. So, so yeah, that's the plan. And we might start that conversation a little sooner rather than later, because the music is it's getting on my nerves too. But once again, you're stuck in that pocket of the kind of music you can use and the kind that you can't, and you have to stay in that non-attribution Creative Commons, and that's just annoying, because that's where artists send their tracks that they don't want to finish to die. So, yeah. But I have to make this statement. We will be talking about things. We're all not always going to agree. This is not a place for argument. Everybody is allowed their opinion, no matter what it is. And they'll be able to talk about their opinion, no matter what it is. But, it's not going to be a bickering back and forth, and it's not going to turn into a debate, Just to put that out there right now. Because I'll shut that down right away. Because the last 5-6 years, and especially in the political world, has just been completely asinine. So it's like either you're on one side or the other, and you have people left like myself that are kind of placed in the middle there, that are looking both sides, going, "You all are freaking idiots." So yeah, we're not gonna debate. Everybody's entitled to what they want and can make statements on that, but we're not gonna debate and bicker back and forth. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a bunch of dick and fart jokes too, because that's me. And if you don't like dick and fart jokes, you're in the wrong place. I know, fantasy, right? It's hard to believe that me and Paul are coming up doing this almost on a decade. It is absolutely insane, the friendship that we have grown just because we were basically doing the same thing. I mean, we went from him streaming the moon, I was streaming the moon. Obviously, he had way better equipment than I had. And I was like, I can't even compete with that. But I did know how to build the channel and stuff like that. And then, me and Paul have been, out to Wyoming. We've been in Utah. It's just been crazy. It's been a crazy decade. And Paul he's just one stellar human being. I know you guys don't hear from him much. He's not really much for the, spotlight or anything like that. But I really do believe it gives him joy sharing this with everybody. And I'm just glad that we're able to do it. Yeah, he was just texting me now that he said it's a nice shot. It's a beautiful shot right now. The skies have come, and even though it's only 39 degrees, I should explain this too. How many new people do we have here? I know we have a lot of returning people. Anybody want to out themselves as a newbie? Or maybe people that even subscribe here don't know what's going on. But let me explain the screen to you, one thing at a time. The bottom left, that is where you'll see the current telescope in use. It'll change. Most times it's only the two. You have an Orion 80 millimeter wide refractor, which is what we're using now. And then you also have the 9.25 Celestron, which is what we use to do crater diving and getting really close. There's also other telescopes that we don't use as much because they're just a pain to drag out and set up all the time. But there is an 11-inch, and I think there's a 12-inch Meade as well, but don't quote me on that. But Paul has like 10 telescopes. So, so yeah, in the bottom left, you're always going to see the current telescope that's being used. The top left, under the P and K, you'll see timestamps. If we see anything, say, cross like a satellite or aliens or, a meteorite that we think it's a meteorite, whatever, we'll timestamp it up there. And once again, if you timestamp something, use the clock on the screen, not the video timer, down below. Because that tells us where actually in time it is on the video. So if you happen to see something, timestamp it. There's mods in the chat, and myself will go back and look at it. If it's usually a bird, we'll usually leave it off. But if it's something interesting, you can. Now, another thing you can do with that is, say the next day, if you want to check out something, instead of watching the video from the beginning, you can go to the very end of the video, look at the timestamps, and then go back from there to see if we caught anything. Like say you missed the stream, and we have 3 timestamps at the end. You can, the next day, just go to the end of the video, look at the timestamps that are on the screen, and go back and look and see what we're seeing. If it's something very special, I will actually isolate that in its own video with zooming and, different, exposures and stuff to take a closer look at it. Of course, in the dead center of the screen, you will see the time, the date. That's just letting you know what the time and date is. Self-explanatory. The top right. Okay, here we go. The top right, you'll see moon direction. That's if you go outside, it'll tell you exactly where the moon is in the sky. Okay? So if you know anything about coordinates, that tells you where it is. Moon altitude. I'm not, for the people that don't know how this works, our moon and sun and everything works on a 90-degree curve, right? So we don't actually get to 90 degrees because 90 degrees is directly above your head. But when the sun is coming up throughout the day, that number, or when the moon, say, first comes up over the horizon, that number will go up. And once it reaches its peak, which we call the zenith, that number will start falling down. Now, the best time to view the moon is when the moon is right around its zenith, because that's the least amount of atmosphere in between the telescope and the moon. That's why we always try to get it, when we're around zenith. So that tells you where it is. So you'll see it now. It's at 38 degrees, but it is now falling because it's going down in the sky. Tomorrow, when it comes up over the horizon, it'll start, and that number will be going up. The moon distance, below that tells you how far away the moon is right now from us. The exact mileage, which is 250,915 miles. That changes and fluctuates a little bit. How we know that is because there are reflectors that were put on the moon during the Apollo missions. They shoot lasers at it. They time how long it takes that laser to come back and hit ours. No, it's not a direct laser. It's not like super sharp. It literally throws a laser beam at the moon, and then you get very minute photons that come back, and we have the equipment to detect that, and then it tells you the mileage of how far away it is. The bottom right, sometimes there's something down there, other times there's not. And last but not least, this is a big one. On the screen, you will see zones. So imagine 6 equal boxes on the screen, but you can't really see the boxes. So if you see an object and you want to timestamp it, you want to say, let's say it was in zone 2, and then you want 10:55:04 or 05, if that's when you saw it. So 3 across the top, 3 across the bottom. Zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Always put a zone. That way people know where to look where you saw it. Make sense? Now, if there's anything we can do better on the screen, please let us know, because we're always, we'll always take suggestions if you think we can make anything better. This has worked for us for fantasy? About 8 to 10 years now. So, yeah. And also, once again, we do have the UFO quote unquote playlist. It's on the channel. You can see it. So yeah, that's basically how we work here. We try to get better. So let's hope we do. And I hope that makes sense to everybody now of how we do things. And I will ask the mods to reiterate that to any new people that come in from this point on in the future. I do have the chat only available to people that have subscribed, and they had to be subscribed for at least 5 minutes. I thought that was fair enough. It keeps trolls out, which you don't really get much of anymore anyway. But I figure that's enough. If people are hanging around long enough to, subscribe, they deserve to be able to chat. And if they want to chat, they're really interested in what's going on the screen, that they'll subscribe and just wait that 5 minutes. So that's for the mods anyway. You will see a good amount of mods. I think I still have 12. I really don't need 12, but now it's more like an honorary thing. Because really, when you think about it, there's really no need for mods on the chat like there was before. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody that comes in and hangs out with us. You will see familiar names. Get to know them. Everybody's cool. Yeah. 50. Yeah. Yeah. You remember who the leading mod was? For a long time. Like we called her the sniper, right? And she might still pop in there because I left her as a mod just in case she ever decides to come back and hang out. But Dee Dee, she wouldn't say anything in the chat. She would basically, you wouldn't even know she was here. But as soon as something popped up in that chat that was like racist or so, she would snipe it and get before anybody even saw it. She was great, and I hope she's doing well as up there in Canada. So yeah, I should actually message her because I do have her on Skype, so I should message her and make sure she's doing all right. So yeah, Dee Dee. Or my very first mod ever was Jenny, Miko. She's kind of disappeared off the radar. Loved her to death. She was actually at Bill's with us 1 year. Of course, Heidi. But there's a lot of people I haven't seen in a while, and maybe you guys have. Like maybe Ted Bronson. Has anybody heard from Ted? I haven't probably seen or heard from him in over a year. That's a big one. I did see from Derek. Yeah. So, yeah, we did have a few. Nancy Kriego passed away. There was another one. Yeah, Jello's still around. I don't see much of him anymore. I'm not sure if there was like a falling out or something. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth, but still wish him the best. But yeah. So we're back in on it, people. Back in the streaming the moon. So, what are the goals? Eyeballs. That is the goals. So whatever, if you guys want to help this channel, the best way to help is getting eyeballs to help us watch. Because we've had nights where we've had 200 people in here and only one person saw something like cross the moon and noticed it. And all of a sudden, put up the timestamp. We all looked like, wow, how did we all miss that? So it's the more eyes we have, the better. The more people watching, the better. Not because of us, because that's more likely we're going to catch something. Eagle eyes. And we love to catch stuff, especially stuff that shouldn't be there. I don't know if you guys remember the donut UFO. That was just very weird. We've had a couple zigzags. But you can tell those things were close to Earth because they were in shadow. Anything near the moon would have been, of course, lit up. Yeah. And I know there's other channels out there saying that they see clouds on the moon and all that bullshit. That just doesn't understand how, optics chips work. And that's fine. I'm not going to here to shit on anybody's hustle, if you know what I mean. But I will say this. If you say you're seeing clouds on the moon, at least understand how optics chips work. And once you go past the Dawes limit or diffraction limit, your optics chip cannot make sense of what it's seeing. So it floats pixels around trying to make sense of it. They're not clouds. But, hustle. Yep. And, of course, for anybody that doesn't know, I'll just say this again. You will never, ever, probably in our lifetime, be able to see the surface of the moon from Earth. No matter how big your telescope is. All right? Me and Mark did the math one day. And a 30-meter... Think about that. What's that, 60 feet? So a 30-meter telescope. No, that's 90 feet, I think, right? It's 3 feet in a meter. So a 30-meter telescope could resolve the entire Apollo landing site. The entire site to just 2 pixels. You wouldn't be able to see it. It's just... and I think the biggest one we have right now is a 12-meter. So, yeah. So people are telling you they're scanning the surface of the moon, or they're looking like, what's this in this crater? These craters are 30, 40, 50, some 80 miles across. You're not going to see something, say, even the size of a rocket. You just won't see it. It's once again, it's called the Dawes limit or the diffraction limit to see, whatever you want to call it. But if you want to look it up, and actually, SMA Sky actually makes a great point. Yeah, we are not orientated correctly on this stream, hardly ever. It's not how you see the moon. What Paul does is he actually tries to bring the most of the lit side in full view, and that's as simple as just because it's almost like a bullet camera, so it's almost like a pipe. So all you have to do is like literally turn that in the eyepiece, and it turns the image of the moon where we can fit it in the screen to try to get the most into it. So, yeah. So, is there any other questions while I'm here going over the channel? Any questions on the past, present, if you... Oh, you know what? I should check out this poll here before I forget. Okay, so we got 79 to 21%. So I think that's a majority yes. So, yeah. So it looks like we will be doing some solar stuff this weekend. And once again, if you don't want the solar stuff, no big deal. Or you just don't tune in. But I kind of like the solar stuff, especially now since we're climbing towards the solar maximum. It's getting a lot busier. No, me and Paul actually met online. Because once again, we were both doing the same thing. He was on Ustream and I was on YouTube. And yeah, we basically enjoyed doing the same thing. And we just decided to team up because he had way better equipment than I had. but I was able to do the streaming platform and actually build a complete channel around it. And of course, I got the voice, if you know what I mean. Hey now. The big old sexy voice. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah. And so we decided, because he was trying to work the scope and do the computer stuff at the same time, and I was doing the same thing, and it just sucks. So having one person do the scope and the other person worry about, the imaging and the streaming and everything like that, because we wanted to be able to keep this as a file. Like, we wanted to be able to save it forever, but you can only load up so many external hard drives before you're like, oh. And then, of course, thankfully, YouTube, we can do this, until we don't want to do it anymore. So, this is basically an archive of our moon watching, and we just decided to bring all you along with us. And it's worked out great, because you all have seen stuff that we have missed, and we've got to do the eclipses, and we have an eclipse. We have a solar eclipse this year. Hopefully we'll get streaming too. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the sun is great. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. This is like, when we don't stream for a while, this is like a family atmosphere here. And we're always inviting new people in. And some people go away and then they come back later, and it's fun. Yeah. It's great seeing you too. So let me see. I know Paul's been dinging my phone here. I should have texted Mark tonight, but I think he's gonna do his own stream tonight. Or no, maybe he's heading out to. I know he had something to do in California, like a MUFON or something. So I think maybe he'll be doing that. One day I'll get Bill back on here, but he's always so busy. I don't know. But we'll start pulling in new people. Is that where it is? Indian Wells? What is that, like a MUFON thing? Old MUFON Mark. Yeah, it's going to be super hot out there. Well, I mean, his telescope is in, the middle outside of Mesa there, so it's like, I mean, Mark out there just getting a little sunburnt. Yeah, I wish that we could calculate all the hours we have, like, moon footage of. Because you never know when somebody's going to need it, too. They'll be like, somebody wants an archive. Like, oh, I wonder what the moon looked like on, March 4th, 2018. You can go back and look. Yeah, thank God for YouTube. Letting us keep these thousands of hours of moon reposited for everybody. Make astronomy great again. I wonder what the next conspiracy to blow up will be. Because, like, when we first started this, Nibiru was the big thing. All these Nibiru assholes, Oh, Nibiru is sun. They're just looking at sun flares through camera lenses. And then you had, and then the flat earth took over. And that was a good 2 or 3 years of people, this still baffles my mind, but yeah, I mean, you still have flat earthers today, And I guess they can believe whatever they want. I mean, the science doesn't lie. I mean, me personally think they're a bunch of window lickers, but, to each their own. I wonder what the next one will be. Yeah, I banned a lot of flat earthers too. Yeah. Well, Planet X and Nibiru are usually one and the same. Like they're the same ilk. Asteroids and aliens. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the people here, including myself and Paul, believe that there is other life out there. That's the whole reason we started this entire thing anyway. We were both looking for UFOs. No shit. We were both looking for them. Like me and Paul agree on a lot of things. One thing, we have certain things that we don't see eye to eye on when it comes to like conspiracy stuff, but we definitely both believe there's life out there. And we may be being visited, and hence why we do this, to try to gain some scientific proof. We're still a little empty-handed. But, you never know. You never know when something's going to come in frame here over the moon and dart off 90 degree. And we have, all the stuff on screen to verify it. Because at any given time, you probably have, 100 to 1,000 people watching the moon at the same time. We're not the only ones. We're dipping down to 34 degrees. So, hey, at least it's going down slow, right? La-da-da-dee. I cannot wait to get this audio stuff tomorrow. It is going to be awesome. Finally, an audio and a microphone upgrade. Almost 10 years in the making. Well, the microphone's already upgraded, but... yeah, Reds is a good channel. Reds, Professor Stick. Oh, there was something. I think it was a bird, though. 11, 12, 55, maybe. Z4 to Z1, if anybody wants to check it out. Yeah, I think it was 11, 12, 55. Z4 to Z1. As I said, it might have been a bird. Birdie. So let me find out how long Paul wants to continue with this. I mean, maybe till the moon goes down, you never know. Ba-dum-bum-bum. God, I love this microphone. All right. I'll tell you what, I gotta go refill my drinky poo. Refill your drinky poos. Smoke them if you got them. All right, here comes the horrible music back for a little bit. So, if you guys think of something we can talk about in the meantime. So when I come back, we have something to converse about. All right. I'll be back. Maybe. Wait. I don't even know if I even have the music still. Did I close it? Son of a... it's still playing. Why don't I see it anywhere? Very weird. Why is that? Oh, there we go. Ah. Alright. We'll be back in like 5-10 minutes. Think of some topics, people. Especially you, Brody. Alright, I'll be back.